Hello everyone. Today's video would be about the basics or the introduction of virtual assistance training. So virtual assistant, abbreviated to VA, is generally self-employed and provides professional, administrative, technical, or creative, can be social as well, assistance to clients remotely from a home office. So technically we are called assistants or executive assistants, personal assistant. It's just that we are working remotely, and because we are virtual assistants, we are also called independent contractors rather than employees. Okay, and our clients are not responsible with our taxes, insurance, or benefits. Although, if you are trying to apply and you see that there are some benefits right there, so that is provided by the agency itself, because we've got a lot of agencies already that are, you know, like putting up a startup company with a pool of virtual assistant, and they give this benefit as part of getting a job from there. So but as an independent contractor, if you're able to get like a client or a direct client, you'd apply directly, so your client would not be responsible for, like statutory deductions or statutory benefits. But you can apply for it, you can register, like as a professional or independent contractor. So here are some qualities expected from a virtual assistant. So first off, you have to be a good communicator. So good communicator, it doesn't really mean that you have to be very good in English, like very fluent in English. The most important thing here is that you'd be understood by your client and you would be able to understand them. So since we're dealing with foreign clients here, communication is a really big challenge, because sometimes we would not be able to understand what they mean, or we would not be able to understand what they said if we're talking to them over the phone. So it's, since English is not really our first language, then we'll be having some grammar lapse, but that's okay. All right, so as long as you're able to understand what the client said and you would be understood by your client, then that would be fine. Okay, and then we also have resourceful. So um nowadays, Google could be your best friend. So say for example, you need to troubleshoot something on the website, you need to troubleshoot something on the emails. So before you really ask your client what to do, you have to search first, or you have to exhaust all your effort to research on how you could troubleshoot the systems, because sometimes they are really very busy, not really sometimes but all the time they are very busy, and they are counting on you to solve the problem, and that goes with problem solver in here. Okay, so actually all these qualities goes hand in hand, so we're just gonna reiterate some of them. Okay, so accessible, so this means actually that you would not be MIA or missing in action, because sometimes there would be some messages from them, and then if they get like a late reply, it would give them an impression that you are not working. So since they can't see us, so they are depending on us, or they are trusting us that we are really working hard. So you should be accessible all the time. So say they would send you WhatsApp messages, they would send you Google Hangouts messages or emails. So you should be able to respond quickly. Okay, and then the next one, resilient. So resilient is the capacity to withstand or recover quickly from a difficult condition. Since we are just human, we cannot prevent making mistakes. So and then there would be times that your client would be upset with you, or they would tell their frustrations with you. However, you have to recover from that and like make it up to them. So, and organized, of course, so you should help your client to be organized with all the tasks and with all the things that he has or she has to do. So this is one thing that should every virtual assistant have. Okay, approachable, so would be able to get some small talk with your client, and being friendly is like actually a plus for them, so they, because they would be at ease with you. Dependable, reliable, and consistent, of course, since they are depending on us, and then like leaving their business with us. So we have to be dependable and reliable. We also have to be understanding, empathetic, tolerant, and patient. Okay. So when we say empathetic, this would show an ability to understand and share the feelings of another. So this usually goes with customer service. So you empathize with your clients if they are complaining, right? So you should also empathize with your client. Okay, when they are, like reaching out to you and telling you different problems and frustrations that they have. So you should be able to understand where they're coming from. You should be versatile, flexible, and adaptable. So sometimes there would be tasks that is not discussed with you at the first part or when you are hired, and then there would be some shift schedule that would change along. You should be able to adapt to that change, and you should be able to be flexible once they ask you, like urgent questions, if they can find this, and if it's outside your job. So you should be able to adapt to that. Okay, trustworthy and honest. So we've already discussed this. So it's very important, right? Because since they are trusting all their system, right, their emails. So and then self-motivated. Well, since you're working from home and you don't have any teammate with you, like unlike when you are at a call center or at the office, so you don't have someone with you to talk to, and you only see yourself. Or if you are like an appointment setter, you're just talking on the phone, and you don't see anyone. So this is very important as well because if you are working at home and then you see everybody is sleeping, so you have to motivate yourself that you have to work, you have to do this, and that is your job. So one good thing that I can tell you to be motivated is to think of the dollars, and then of course you have to be confident. So um, if your client sees you, like at the first start or at the interview, if your client sees you that you're not confident, then they would not be confident as well to trust you to get their job done. So you have to show them that you are confident. Professional, of course. So everyone expects every VA to be professional and proactive. So when we say proactive, you are not just relying on the task that they tell you. You have to think outside the box. So, say for example, these are the tasks that you have for today, okay? And then you're already done with that, but you still have some hours left within your shift. So, what you can do is, take a look since you have access to the system, to the email. So, take a look on the other task that you think is pending, and then you'd see there, and then you can talk or you can discuss that with your client, and then they would really appreciate it because they'd be reminded of those pending tasks. Would leave a good impression to your client. Okay, so now we go to the typical task of a virtual assistant. Okay, so these are just some. So we have email management, calendar management, file management, reporting, customer service. We also have some personal errands, social media management, website management, blog management, and CRM management. And then this one is for setting up autoresponders, managing email campaigns, list building and management, booking appointments with clients, database building, research, and data entry. So, again, these are just some of the typical tasks of a virtual assistant, and it depends on the niche of the business, right? Of your client or the client that you're applying with. So, this is just, it's just a few, but there are lots of tasks, okay? And then what is the salary rate of a virtual assistant? So as a newbie, you could start from $3 to $5 per hour. Okay. Some would give you like a monthly amount, like a fixed amount. And I think the best rate to start if it's a fixed amount is $400 to $500 a month. Well, actually, this rate depends on the task and the skills that you have. Okay, so for experienced, sorry for the spelling, so that should be experienced virtual assistants, it could range from $6 to $10 per hour. So if you're just a newbie, $3 to $5 per hour is okay. All right, because just to think of the skills that you'd be getting from that job, and say, let's say it's just part-time, so that's okay as well. And then say if you're already experienced, then if your client asks you how much is your rate, then you can tell that it's $6 per hour. And but of course you would have to defend why $6. So you would have to tell them why are you worthy for this rate. Okay, so when will I get my payment? So some clients would give you like a weekly payment, and this is what I also wanted. Okay, and then bi-monthly, so it depends on the say 1530, so we still do that, like in companies, so 1530, then some others like 520, so some of them do that as well. And then of course the monthly one. And what is the schedule of a virtual assistant? Well, it will actually depend on the clients that you have. So we have here for Australian clients. So Australian are actually ahead of us. So it's 2 hours late than us. So your shift would start at 4 a.m. And that's 6 a.m. to them, and until 3 p.m., which is 5 p.m. to them already. Okay. And then if you have UK clients, so we are 7 hours ahead. Your shift could start at 1 p.m. Philippine time, and then 12 until 12 a.m. Philippine time. So it depends on the schedule that they'd be giving you. And then if your clients are US, so this one is just, for EST time. So we are 12 hours ahead of them. So your shift could start from 8 p.m., which is already 8 a.m. to them, and then until 6 a.m., which is 6 p.m. to them. So if you know the like the time zone of US, they have this daylight saving time, so that could change as well. Okay, so if daylight saving time is applied, so we'd be 13 hours ahead to them. So if you're starting at 8 p.m., then at the daylight saving time, it would start at 9 p.m. Okay. And of course, I have here a link where you could see the different time zone, or where you can set this different time zone. So timeanddate.com. So you can use that to check on the hours. Okay. And then we also have here some tools and apps that you should know when you're applying as a virtual assistant. So we have here the Google Suite. So this would include the Gmail, Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets. And then we also have here the Google Voice or the Google Hangout. So for the US, they have this feature in their Google Suite, like, for Google Voice, and that's what they use for calling. Okay, or their virtual phone. Okay. And then the alternative of that, actually, Google Suite is an alternative of Office 365 if you don't have it installed on your computer. But this is the one that we used before. It started with MS Office, right? So if you're using Windows 10, compatible application to that is Office 365, and it has a lot of feature. They also have this Office 365 Business, where you could use Skype for Business, and that would be like an equivalent of Zoom, Team Viewer, and something like that. So we also have here's a Cloud Drive Dropbox. So this is very important nowadays, since this could be like a folder where you can save the files that you should be sending with your clients. And then for organization tools, so we have your Asana and Trello. So Asana could be, like a tracker of the task, as well as Trello. So you can use them to organize the task and to see what's your pending, what's coming soon. So there, you could use those tools. And we have your LastPass. So LastPass is used to send you accounts or to share with you the login credentials of their apps or of their system. So they won't have to give you their password. So for security reasons, if their pet peeve is, security, so they'd use LastPass to share with you their system access. Okay. For social media, if you are going to be like a social media manager slash VA, so you'd be using Hootsuite, Meet Edgar, and of course, our social media apps in here. So Hootsuite is the most common or most famous where you could post Instagram post or schedule Instagram post, and then Meet Edgar, you can use this to schedule post for Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So they don't have Instagram yet. So schedule ones and Calendly are used to like set appointments with the client. So they you can just provide them the links from these systems, and then you can just send it to like prospect client, so and then they'd be the ones to schedule their appointment with your client. Okay. And then Zillow, MailChimp, those are used with real estate. So Zillow is like a system where you could see the listing of the property. And then MailChimp, of course, this is used for email marketing. Okay, so this is the very first or the most famous application before that was used in real estate for sending email campaigns. But right now we got a lot of system um, for email marketing. And then if you are doing some social or some graphic designing, you could use Photoshop and Canva. Okay. And then we also have your time doctor. So this is like a time in or time out system. This can also monitor what you're doing with your screen. So you would not notice, it would screenshot it, every 10 minutes it would screenshot your computer, and that would be saved in the dashboard of Time Doctor. So there, they can see if you're accessing Facebook, if you're accessing your social media accounts, and they can also see whatever you're doing within your shift. Okay. So these are just some of the tools and apps. There are lots of tools you'd need to know when you're applying as a virtual assistant.